The moment I opened my eyes, I felt a strange weight pressing down on my chest, not a physical burden, but the crushing realization that I had lived this life before. The golden morning light streamed through the curtains, painting my modest bedroom in a warm glow. Everything looked the same, yet I knew it wasn't. I wasn't supposed to be here. Not again. My fingers trembled as I reached for the small silver mirror on my nightstand. The face staring back at me was young, unlined, untouched by the grief and regret that had once consumed me. I was back before everything went wrong, before I had made the worst mistake of my life, before I had married the wrong man. A sharp knock on the door jolted me from my thoughts. "Are you awake?" It was my mother's voice, soft, kind, and filled with the warmth I had missed for so long. My throat tightened as a flood of emotions crashed over me. She was still alive. My mother, who had passed away years ago in my previous life, was standing right outside my door. "Yes," I managed to whisper, swallowing the lump in my throat. My hands clenched the blanket as I forced myself to stay calm. I needed to think. I had been given a second chance, but why? Was it fate? A cruel joke? Or was this my one opportunity to fix everything I had destroyed? And then it hit me. Him. I gasped, my heart pounding in my chest. In my past life, I had married Ethan, a man who had seemed perfect, charming, and reliable, but behind closed doors, he had been nothing but cold, selfish, and cruel. He had never loved me, only used me for his own gain. And the man I should have married? He had died. Liam. A name that sent a shiver through my entire body. He had loved me unconditionally. He had been the one who stood by me, the one who had fought for me even when I had turned him away. And because of my foolishness, he had lost his life in an accident that never should have happened. But now I had a choice. My breath came faster as the weight of this realization settled over me. I could change everything. I could rewrite my fate. This time, I wouldn't let Liam die. This time, I wouldn't fall for Ethan's lies. But how? A slow, uneasy feeling curled in my stomach. If I was given this second chance, did that mean fate would try to correct itself? Would Ethan still find his way into my life? Would Liam still face the same danger? I had no answers, but I did have one thing: time, and I would not waste it. I pushed back the covers and swung my legs over the side of the bed, determination settling into my bones. This time, I would fight. This time, I would love the right man. And no matter what, I would save him. I took a deep breath, steadying myself as I moved toward the window. The world outside looked just as I remembered, familiar yet distant, like a dream I had woken up from too soon. The street below was alive with morning energy, neighbors greeting each other, cars passing by, children laughing on their way to school. It was a picture of normalcy, but I knew better. This wasn't just another ordinary morning. This was my second chance. I had to be careful. One wrong move, and I could fall into the same trap as before. I had to remember how everything had happened, the choices that led me to that terrible fate. Ethan had been charming at first, his words sweet and his gestures thoughtful, but beneath that mask, he had been manipulative, cold, and controlling. He had taken everything from me: my happiness, my trust, my love, and I had let him. But the biggest regret of all was Liam. I closed my eyes, memories of him rushing back like a flood. His smile, his steady gaze, the way he had always known what to say when I felt lost. He had been my safest place, but I had been too blind to see it. He had tried to warn me about Ethan, had tried to protect me, but I had pushed him away, and because of my choices, he had lost his life. Not this time. A knock at the door made me jump. My mother's voice floated in. "Sweetheart, are you okay? You've been quiet this morning." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I'm fine, Mom, just thinking." There was a pause. Then, in that soft, knowing voice, she said, "Come down for breakfast. Your father will be home soon." My father, another person I had lost too soon. In my past life, we had drifted apart. I had been too caught up in Ethan's world, too wrapped up in a love that wasn't real. By the time I realized my mistake, it had been too late, but not now. I turned from the window and opened the door. My mother standing there with a gentle smile. She looked just as I remembered, her kind eyes, the slight wrinkles around them from years of laughter and worry. I wanted to hug her, to hold onto her and never let go, but instead, I just smiled back. "I'll be right down." As I followed her downstairs, the scent of freshly brewed coffee and toast filled the air. The warmth of home surrounded me, something I hadn't felt in so long. I needed to cherish this. I needed to protect it. I sat at the kitchen table, watching my mother move around the kitchen, humming softly. I memorized every detail: the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way she always double-checked the stove, the way she set my plate down with the same motherly care. And then the front door opened. My father stepped in, shaking off his coat, his familiar presence filling the space. He looked at me and smiled. "Morning, kiddo." My chest tightened. He was here, alive. He wasn't supposed to be, not in the timeline I remembered. "Morning, Dad," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I forced myself to act normal as we ate, but my mind was racing. How much time did I have before things started shifting toward the past I had lived? How much time before Ethan found his way back into my life? I needed to find Liam. After breakfast, I hurried upstairs and grabbed my phone, my fingers shaking as I scrolled through my contacts. His name was there, Liam Carter. Just seeing it sent a sharp pain through my chest. I had ignored him so many times before, but not now. I hesitated for only a second before pressing the call button. It rang once, twice, and then. "Hello?" His voice, strong, steady, just as I remembered. But this time, there was no pain, no distance between us. He didn't hate me yet. "Liam," I breathed out, my heart pounding. There was a brief silence on the other end. "Yeah, who is this?"